G'day, Ben from Melbourne here, and today I'm going to do my part two of some of my favourite Australian music from the 2010s. Let's get straight into it. Anyone who watches my channel won't be surprised that this album, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard's 2016 record, Nonagon Infinity, of course, one of my favourite records of theirs, probably their best. This one is like where their garage psychedelic sort of jazz tinge rockers, it all come together with prog and hard rock elements as well, and then they become like what we know them today, especially live, like that tight, finely tuned audio assault unit, you could say. Really cool pictures on the inside. Yeah, it's non-stop riffs, intricate yet wild guitars, Cavs and Eric's powerhouse drumming. Just brilliant stuff. Like, you know, it's got that unmistakable Giz weirdness that we love as well in there. I don't think they made a record quite like this one, or one like it since. It kind of stands alone. But it's lo-fi as shit, but it is absolutely killer. Alright, just get that back in the bag. Who would have thought standing up would be so difficult? Next, great band called Fabulous Diamonds with their album Commercial Music. Come out in 2012 on Chapter Music Records. It's got that insistent drum sound, drones, chanted vocals, like dreamscape synths over the top. It's more like a trance than a record. It's beautiful stuff. I'm starting to realise why I normally sit down and do this, because it's a long way down. There we go. Next up, Terry with their album Remember Terry from 2017, from Upset the Rhythm Records. It's got that laconic vocal style on top of what was pretty much the classic Melbourne indie rock sound of the time. A few hooks throughout, amongst sort of more dirgy like tunes with a bit of drony sax here and there as well. There we go. Just on the black vinyl, pretty cool labels. And I haven't disappeared. I'm just bending down a long way for an old man. It's just some nice inners with lyrics there. Pretty cool. Did I show you the back cover? Good stuff. Alright, next we're going to go with the Tyrannomen. This was on Static Shock Records, come out 2016. It's kind of like all your favourite late 70s, early 80s sweaty Australian rock and roll bands all rolled into one. Great raw vocal style. There's like, amongst the like rock classism in here, it's got that punk rock swagger which a lot of Australian rock and roll has. Just show you the inside. Just another black vinyl, pretty plain labels there. Just slip that one back in. And the cover again, and the back cover there. If you like your raw rock and roll, Tyrannomen, highly recommended. I think they just did the one and out, and they're all doing other things now. Alright, next, because you can't talk about Australian music since post-2000s without bringing up a project of the great Mikey Young, Total Control, with their album Typical System from 2014 on Lungs Records. Yeah, equal parts guitar-driven angular post-punk, as you'd expect. Yeah, that 70s German cosmic music sort of style of repetition with drum machines and synths. Yeah, there's a bit of a mix of live band and electronic sounds, but it overall works really well. Like, it's kind of like if Eddie Current Suppression Ring had synths and played with more repetitive grooves. The track Black Spring on this is the absolute winner on this album. It's awesome. Okay, and I will somehow balance this and get it back in. Yes. Looks like there's a very thin paper poster here, which, oh, please don't tear, please don't tear. Set it up the wrong way. Oh no, got it up the right way. And it's got lyrics on the back. What a pain in the ass to fold this out if you wanted to see what they're singing about. Of course, it's not going to go back together. Oh, it did. Okay, let's stay with the punk rock infused rock and roll with the Peep Temples album Joy on Wing Sing Records from 2016. Seems to be their last one, because Blake Scott, was it last year, released a fantastic solo record and is touring with his solo band. So who knows? When bands say hiatus, it usually means see you later, sayonara, we're done. But this, yeah, punk rock influence with that hard rock edge. There's also some quite moody songs on this one. Yeah, a bit dark, great lyrics, memorable riffs and songs on here. Cool inner there. Got the government grant, as you can see. It's helped a lot of Australian indie bands get records out or finance tours. Yeah, some of the songs are almost have like a spoken word element. Yeah, there's what is it called? The one called Constable. Yeah, which is basically from the perspective of a cop in a rural town who's, you know, on top of the world, king of his surroundings, although he's a bit corrupt and does things his own way. Yeah, it's a great sort of story song. But then you have like full-on punkers like Ray Guns, yeah, which is got the great chorus of the regime is coming and they're all on ice. Anyway, nice label there with the album cover artwork and just the tracks on the back there. Rightio, this is probably the last standing video you'll see, because this is incredibly difficult to get these back in without dropping shit everywhere. Okay, bit of a change with the great Melbourne band None with their self-titled album. Just had the 2 records come out, both fantastic. Yeah, this was on Art Records from 2014. Yeah, you know, what can I say? Synth punks with that dark industrial vibes, and yeah, Jenny Brannigan's wild process vocals over the top. Really great stuff. Catchy, danceable, dark, and just good songs. There's the inner in there. That looks like a bit of Ouija board action going on in there. I hope that's a hand. And and just on the black vinyl again. Okay. And I will just slide that in. Well done. Righto. What are we up to? Try not to drop everything again. And we got The Living Eyes. Yeah, with their album Living Large from 2015 on the Great Anti-Fade label. Yeah, killer garage rock from these guys. Always good. Cool in there. Yeah, got that snotty vocal style, heaps of hooks and groove, but still raw enough to tick all the boxes if you're a fan of like Back to the Grave and Pebbles stuff. Of course, you know, these guys are from Geelong and they get that stuff spot on. And inside, just the nice clear vinyl on this. With the pretty groovy label design there. And we'll get this one back in. And I'm back. All right. Jack Ladder and the Dreamlanders. With his album Hurtsville, which was on Spunk Records from 2011. This band also released this band, the Dreamlanders, also features you may have heard of Kieran J. Callanan and Donny Benet, who released stuff in their own right. Pretty interesting, kind of more in the electronic pop vein with Donny Benet and a bit more experimental with Kieran J. Callanan. But this is just Jack Ladder's masterful modern indie pop songwriter. He is great baritone voice with quite introspective lyrics. Yeah, check out the tracks Cold Feet and the title track for evidence of that. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, really great indie pop record. When I say pop, I don't mean upbeat. It's more mid-tempo, contemplative kind of thing, but really good stuff. Jeez, when I bend down, getting plenty of close-ups of the bald bont, so I hope you're enjoying that. Okay, and last on the list is the great Spencer P. Jones, who I think he only did Rumour of Death solo album in the 90s, and it's probably really from the 2000s he started to really come into like his own of releasing a lot of great solo material. He's always been a great collaborator, of course, with B Suburban and the Johnnies and millions of others. Hell to Pay is another one that comes to mind. But anyway, this is, one of his many great solo records. I would recommend checking out pretty much anything he does. Anything he's on is always really good. This is from 2012 on Bang Records. I think that's the Spanish label. Seemed to be mad for guys like Spence from that era, because they release a lot of stuff like by bands like Celibate Rifles and the B Suburban reissues and things like that. But you know, it's great that there's a label out there who are promoting good Australian rock and roll, and that's indeed what this is. A great straight up rock and roll record that probably sit really fine, you know, within the Beasts catalogue. Features James Baker. There he is there, of course, the man who was the original drummer on the first 3 B Suburban albums and was in the inception of pretty much every great Australian band in the late 70s, early 80s, like The Scientists, Victims, Hoodoo Gurus, the Dubrovniks. Yeah, played with anyone, so cool to see him on this. And A couple of other familiar faces on there, Gareth Lydiard and Fiona Kitchen, I think is how you pronounce her name. Of course, from the Drones, and lately from Tropical Fuckstorm, but the Drones are the one just between you and me. Yeah, on guitar and bass retrospectively. Definitely sparks fly between Spence and Gareth when they trade off licks on the guitars. This is just a great rockin' record. There's the two boys on the back, the old fellas. I'm sure that's soft drink in Spence's hand there. And now the inside. Bit of a fuzzy collage picture there. If my memory serves me correct, this is the album which they were recording out at Gareth and Fiona's studios in country Victoria, and Spence had to go to the dentist one morning and got quite a few teeth pulled out, and then came back out to complete some vocals, I think it says in his book. And Gareth was like, I said, do you have a day off? And he's like, no, we'll do it. And Gareth was like, oh, tough old bastard. So, yeah, I just love the idea of, there's some songs on here that Spencer's singing without any teeth. He still sounds great though. All right, I'm going to leave it there. There's going to be a part 3, obviously, because there's a lot more good stuff that come out in this period. Thanks for watching. See you soon.